Hey there, so this is Wendy Jackson. Really quickly before you listen to the next episode, I have great news for you. So, you know that you can get the books Empowerment for You and the Empower to Empower You workbook. You can get them on Amazon. Just search for Be Wendy Bob, B-O-B-B. That's my maiden name. Or you can just get them through my website, Against All Odds PCS.com. Against All Odds PCS.com. That's P as in Paul, C as in Charlie, S as in September. Recently, I have a new journal. I'm so excited, y'all. This journal offers a little bit more structure. It's very simple. It's for you, all of you, anybody who's listening. It's for you. And we are in the pre-launch phase, and you can go on bewendyjackson.com to order your journal today. bewendyjackson.com. Order the Gratitude Journal. Check it out. You're going to see exactly what I mean by that. Listen, I'm so grateful for you supporting me. There's lots of things going on, but I just wanted to share that new excitement, that new exciting feature for your offering with you, and continue to listen to the show. Listen, if you have any questions about travel, how you can travel better for less, I'm excited. We're part of an amazing travel club where we get to save 30 to 80%, and you're going to hear that in the video after the episode. Just connect with me to learn more, and we'll talk soon. Love you so much, and have a great week on purpose. Enjoy the show. Well, hello, everyone. This is your lovely host of the Empower to Empower You podcast, Mrs. B. Wendy Jackson. I'm so glad that you decided to tune in today. For those of you who are tuning in for the first time, Empower to Empower You podcast is about all things Jesus Christ, mental health, anything to help you become the better version of yourself. If you have been tuning in with me since January 2020, thank you so, so much. If you've shared, subscribed, rated, and reviewed the podcast, I really, really appreciate you. Y'all, I have had amazing guests. And I first of all want to say this, that just because I serve, one of my functions is I serve as a licensed clinical social worker, mental health therapist, Christian therapist. The podcast is not a substitute for therapy. It is to aid in your journey. It is a wonderful companion, but it's not to substitute. Same thing with salvation. I always say, listen, by the time I finish the episode, my heart desires that somebody will give their life to Christ because it is the best decision that one can make ever that will affect where you end up in with eternal life, where you end up after you die. So, with all that said, after my disclaimers, I am so excited to have this beautiful guest here today. Her name is Cowano Stanley. We're going to talk about reclaiming and increasing your confidence. Y'all, this is one of those episodes that you need to get your tea, your coffee, your juice. Listen, this woman, I am so honored to interview her today. She is a speaker, she's a confidence coach, an author of several books. She coaches women how to reclaim and increase their confidence caused by trauma or life circumstances so that they can achieve their goals. And she can talk about it because she's been through it. So, welcome, Cowano, to the Empower to Empower You podcast. Hello.
Hello, welcome everybody. I'm glad to be here.
Awesome. Let's just jump in. Why are you passionate to share the story?
I am passionate about sharing my story around the world globally because I know during this time like that we're living in now, so many people are dealing with low self-esteem, mental illness, and believing in yourself is one of the key things to make sure that you can be able to be motivated to keep going because at the end of the day, life is going to life.
Yep.
One way or the other. If it's not if, it's when. And you have to
Yes.
be prepared and have the tools and the strategies to know what to do when it happens. How do you respond? What do you respond to? And when do you know to just sit still? And so that's why I'm so passionate about it because I've experienced a lot and I'm only 45. So I've experienced quite a bit through being a single mom, going through so much and some other things, and we'll talk about that later. But I'm passionate about helping people learn the tools and strategies they need to increase their confidence.
Yes, I like to say that I'm a hope dealer, so it's good to meet another hope dealer.
Yes, yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. So you're busy. We were just talking offline. There's a lot of things that you're doing right now, a lot of things pulling at your attention, doctorate degree, books, conference. There's a lot of things that you're coaching and influencing. Out of all the things that you're doing right now, what would you say is the most life-giving thing in this season?
The most likely thing for me is being able to spend time with family and just have my personal self time where I just take the moment of sitting near some water, some beach. I'm in Vegas, so ain't no beaches here,
Oh
but
man.
just having a moment. I love water, and I like to take that moment to reset, reboost, and think of what's next or what do I go from here. And you got to have that time in your life where you set aside to just focus on you and focus on the journey, your past, the present, and the future.
Mm-hmm. So where do you go? What's closest to you to get to the water?
Nothing. Only thing close to me in Vegas is, of course, any pool, nice scenery. Of course, there's plenty of nice sceneries in here, in
Yeah.
Vegas because this is a nice staycation.
Thank you. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. You know, how when you think when we get to your topic of, reclaiming and increasing your confidence, how would you define confidence?
I define confidence as believing in oneself and being able to not only believe in yourself, but believing in your abilities, your strength, your gifts and talents that God has given you, and being able to work with what's in you already and adding to that.
Right, right, right. So just hearing that definition, which I love, what are some factors that can negatively impact one's confidence? Let's talk about that for a moment.
Oh, there are so many, life in
Yeah.
general. But one main thing is trauma is one of the biggest things that can affect people's confidence along the way. And it can start from when you're a child. It can start from when you was a teenager, whatever moment happened in your life to make you self-doubt or believe who you are and who God called you to be on your journey of life. And that's one
Hmm.
of the biggest things that I see that people carry into year after year, month after month, all the way up through their we still got adults who haven't dealt with trauma that happened when they was 5 or 10. And so
Yes,
that's one
ma'am.
of the biggest reasons of why some people behaviors and actions and responses are the way they are because of how they haven't dealt with something in their past.
Absolutely. Trauma is huge because it affects how a person sees themselves, sees the world, views God. We've had lots of conversations with several guests on just the impact of trauma in their lives, right? And so another factor I would imagine that you've probably seen is unresolved grief and how that
Yes.
impact one's view of themselves. Something I love, and grief is not just the love of a lost one, but the loss of a dream. I believed that I was going to get this thing. I believed I was going to achieve this goal. I believe I was going to get this license, this degree, and then only to fail the test. Talk about standardized exams.
Mm.
That alone can impact a person's esteem. I don't know if you've seen that a lot with the women that you coach in their professional ambitions. How have you seen that play out, not just in other women's lives, but what are some factors that you've seen play out affected you in your life, if you whatever you can share?
Um, Failure is one of the biggest things that'll shut a person's belief in themselves down. Failure of
Yes.
rejection, failure of the unknown, failure of just being stuck and stagnant, failure of just not knowing what do I do and where do I go. And
Mm-hmm.
I saw that within myself and me going through just a single mom, even though I did my best and I can commit myself on my back now. But when I was going through my lack of confidence, I didn't see that because I felt like I'm a single mom. This is not a place that I ever wanted to be. I wanted to
Yeah.
make sure everything was okay. I want to make sure I could do it, but with someone, and it didn't turn out that way. So I had
Mm-hmm.
to do what I had to do. I juggled as a single mom with working full time, going to school full time, and my son was in 3 sports a year up until
Mm.
the end of his 12th grade year from third grade all the way up. So I juggled a lot and still I just kept going. I just kept going, but I was afraid that if I didn't do everything right, I don't want to go wrong anywhere. And I even had to find myself in a place. My son is 24 now, but he didn't go the route that I wanted him to go. Not that he's not doing, he's doing fabulous, he's doing amazing, but I wanted him to go somewhere else and it didn't happen. And then I see his best friends are in that same situation. They're in the situation I wanted to see my son. And I'm just like, where did I go wrong? What did I not
Mm-hmm.
do? Did I not go harder? So you have to
Yep.
be able to talk to yourself. It's okay to get it out and say and ask those questions, but you don't allow those stuff to dictate who you are and still say, okay, well, I did what I knew how to do. And I
Yeah.
did
Yep.
my best because somebody else may have done worse. So it's being able to tap in and face failure where it stands, but don't let it make you stagnant or stuck in believing in who you are.
That is so key because when you were saying that, what came to my mind uh is I've never said this before, so thank you, Holy Spirit. Disappointments, disappointment is the sum of unmet experience.
Mm,
Disappointment is the not experience, expectations. Disappointment is the sum of unmet expectations. So if I have all these expectations, so for example, you said I had these expectations of where my son would be. I had these expectations of being able to do life with my husband or with my person, and then that didn't happen, and so now I'm disappointed. Anytime I have an expectation, it's not realized. I get disappointment, and when we think about something that could deflate a person's esteem,
mm,
I'm sure you can look at any time a person has had a reduction or just how they view themselves has changed. I'm pretty sure that we can find a common denominator of where has that person experienced disappointment.
mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yep, I agree. Yeah,
yeah,
disappointment is because some people are disappointed because of even when it comes to their parents, they're still holding on to stuff that it's like, you're grown now. Why are we still being the victim? We're not the victim. We have
right.
to use what God has given us to be able to move forward. And many times people don't. I grew up in the church.
Mm-hmm,
So I know without a doubt how to come back to God. I know how, I've fallen beside the wayside and shut God out. I've done that. But I
mm-hmm,
also had enough built in me growing up, knowing God, that I need to come back. And there's no
yes.
other way, there's no options that I can do. God is the way, the truth, and the light.
Mm-hmm. Right, right, right. So let's talk about coming back. How did you reclaim your confidence? After all the things that you experienced, I know you mentioned the word trauma on an offline conversation, and I don't know what you want to share that you feel comfortable with sharing, but how did you reclaim your confidence?
So my backstory with where my true deep lack of confidence came from, where I wanted to be in this place and I feel that I'm walking in my purpose now, is I went through, while raising my son, I went through 16 and a half years of several different domestic violence relationships. So I'm a domestic violence survivor. I went through
Mhm,
16 and a half years of that, from physical and verbal. Verbal was the worst. Several things have happened. I've been pushed out of a moving vehicle. I've been kicked down the stairs. So I've experienced that, where I tell people that when you allow people, and I say allow because you have control of what you're going to allow in your space and who you let into your life. But I allow people, men, to be general, that to tear my confidence down, to step on my confidence to the place where I had that lack of confidence. I didn't believe in me. I didn't believe in my goals. I didn't believe that
mhm,
I deserve better. I didn't believe in my worth because verbally so much had been torn down. It was just like you get a new rug and it's nice, it's vibrant, vibrant, it's beautiful, got colors to it. It's
mhm,
shining at your front door, but the moment you constantly keep letting people come into that front door, it
yes,
begins to diminish. It
right.
begins to fade away, and that's exactly what happened to my confidence, to the point that I was so tired. I lost weight. I mean,
Mm,
all of this stuff happened even while I was still raising my son.
mm,
All I was doing was existing. I wasn't living. I was just going with the flow of the emotions of just caring for my son, and that's it. And so with all of that, I didn't negative thoughts, depression came in, anxiety came in, And then just life stuff happened unexpectedly. 2012, I almost committed suicide. So for me to be in a place where I am now, I'm grateful that God didn't allow me to take my life. I'm
Yeah.
grateful that he used my son to come into the room, into the house that particular day and call my name. So it would make me think, hold on, stop. You do got something to live for. So
Yes.
that was the moment of me being able to say, hey, you got to get up out of this. You got to
Mm,
dig yourself out. That's why it's important for me to teach people, women especially, on how to increase their confidence, how to keep their confidence built up without going in a dark place of depression,
yeah.
anxiety, all these negative thoughts that's overwhelming you to allow you to be in a place to take your life. Because I know once you get in that deep, dark place, it's hard to get out of it. It
Absolutely.
is a
Absolutely.
process. If you don't have a support system, if you don't know God, if you don't
Mhm.
have people praying for you, it's hard to get out of that. So I don't want people to get in that space of
Right.
falling so deep that it's hard to get out. Because once the devil take your mind, he takes your mind.
Yeah. Yeah. So your process, thank you for sharing that with me. And so this is your process of reclaiming your confidence included your faith in the Lord Jesus Christ, having a
Yes,
support system. Is there
yes.
anything, and then it sounds like you telling yourself, like, okay, enough is enough. We got we have fallen down several times. We've been kicked down. We've been pushed down, but I've got to get back up. Was there anything else that was part of that process of reclaiming your confidence that I'm missing?
Part of that was, learning to speak to self in a positive way, speak life.
Yeah,
Speaking
yeah,
life is huge. The more that you do it, the more that you believe in yourself, the more you feel better about yourself because you have to learn how. And the part of learning confidence and increasing your confidence is learning how to be okay with self, giving yourself some self compassion, doing the
mm-hmm,
self work, doing this
mm-hmm,
personal development with on self, accepting who you are and those things that you can change. Ask God to help you change those things. And those that
yes,
you can't change, it is who you are because that's what makes you unique. Those things that are supposed to be you. So I had to do
absolutely,
the self work and the process of just toning into me. Because if
yeah,
I'm not good for me, I'm not good for my son, not good for my mother, as a friend, a sister, nobody. So I had
ab-
to start slowly doing the work. I think one of the biggest things for me, I'm a lifetime learner. I'm always learning something. I'm at the highest level of school that I can go.
wow, yeah, 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 yeah,
So
yeah,
I'm always learning. So my thing is always finding the time to make sure you're okay spiritually, mentally, body, mind, and spirit. It has to balance. It has
yeah.
to balance.
So yes, I can imagine. One of the barriers. I know there's so many factors that can impact the confidence. We could literally, this could be a full day conference of just on this topic, which I'm sure you do all the time, and you're about to get ready to do while in Vegas. But one thing that I can imagine is unforgiveness, right? Like not receiving the forgiveness for self.
Hmm.
And so if I feel diminished, if I feel so condemned, if I'm living under condemnation, let's say, we talked about trauma, but there are times where my confidence could be low because of decisions that I made.
Hmm.
And so if I haven't, let's say I've repented, let's say okay, God, forgive me, Lord, I repent, I'm crying, but if I have not received the forgiveness and accepted the belief that I'm already forgiven, that Jesus already died for it on the cross, I can imagine that that also is a stumbling block for my walking in purpose confidently. Would you say that?
Yes.
Have you seen that often? And
Oh,
a lot of people
absolutely. I
struggle.
blame
Yeah,
myself plenty of times. I blame
that's
myself plenty of times, Miss Jackson,
right.
to the
Hmm.
point to where I had to stop beating myself up. I had to let it go. I had to forgive myself and I had to
Hmm.
move forward. That was hard, but sometimes doing that may be crying out for days. Every person is going to be different. It can be
Yep.
days, it can be weeks, it can be moments. And the more that you do it to release it, and of course, I'm going to say this, I feel like a therapist is needed.
Yes.
Sometimes going through trauma situations, a therapist needed. Even now today, I don't have a therapist here, but the one that I had in Minnesota before I moved here, I still had to make sure. Sometimes you just got to talk to somebody, and it's not family and friends.
That's right.
because you have to get that stuff out. That's what allows that depression and the what is it? The devil's mind is the devil's playground is idle mind is the devil's playground. So
Playground.
you got to get that stuff out. I hadn't told my family didn't even know half of the stuff about the domestic because I didn't tell them. They didn't know it until I literally start getting coaches and mentors to learn how to speak on stages and use my voice.
Wow. Wow. When you share this with people, you know how you share things with people, sometimes people don't know what to say, right? And so
Yes.
sometimes they might say, I'm so sorry that you experienced that. What do you prefer that people say to you when you share? Because you're not looking for sympathy, but sometimes just
Mm-mm.
people trying to empathize, they might say, oh my gosh, like, I'm so sorry that you experienced that. I asked somebody this, and the person said, well, I'm not sorry because it's part of my journey. I hate that I went through it, but I'm not sorry that I went through it because it made me who I am. And so I'm just curious, what would you prefer that somebody says to you when you share your story?
That's the same thing that most people that's already healed, I've healed. So I can
Yeah.
get past that. I don't have to cry about it. I don't have to feel bad about it. I am here because of what I went through. And
Yes.
God knew I was going to go through it before I was even born. So my
That's
thing
right.
is there's a time and a place for everything in your life. Even the bad moments that are going to happen, God know what decisions you are going to make before they happen. You
Right.
just got to go through them to get through it.
That's
So
right.
I'm okay with people saying I'm sorry, but I tell them there's nothing to be sorry about. Because if I didn't go
Yeah.
through it, I wouldn't be here telling you this story.
Right. Right. That's good. That's good. Well, it sounds like you had. I was going to ask you who or what helped you along the way on this journey. It sounds like I heard you say you had therapists, you had coaches, you had mentors, you had a support system, and that's so crucial. Is there anything else that you didn't mention that helped you to get up and to keep going forward?
My biggest thing of me have always been my child. When I had my son, that was my life turnaround for me to be the best mother that my son sees in me.
Mm,
My family has, deep rooted South Arkansas, so they've always been huge when it comes to the church and the God. So that has always been a part. My aunt is a minister, so I've always had the strong women in my family and men that always, when I came out with this and started speaking with about my background and about what had happened, I mean, my family was excited. My mom and my mom's sister is like the biggest supporter of me moving forward with this stuff.
wonderful.
So they're the biggest people I can say in my life. And when it comes to family, that is always like, you good. They always cheer me on. They always congratulate me. They're always supportive. But most of the thing that keeps me going is my family. My biggest why is my family, so that
Mm,
I can be able to do what I need to do for my family and for other women out there. I mean, my this coaching space and this speaking space is bigger than me. The vision
sure.
is bigger than me. This conference of Reclaim Your Confidence is bigger than me.
Yes. Yes. What's your mom's name?
Nancy,
Nancy, and your aunt's name.
Gloria.
So if you were to say something as a shout out to Miss Nancy, what would you say? Because
I would just say thank you,
she's gonna hear
mom
this
and
podcast.
TT. Thank you, mom and TT, for the biggest supporters of me moving forward in my life and always praying for me. If nobody else prayed for me, I know y'all have prayed for me, and I'm grateful and thankful for you both.
Yeah, because they're gonna hear this podcast. I wanted to give you the opportunity to shout them out for sure. Yes, we definitely want to thank the people that have supported us. So let's kind of pivot a little bit. You are a coach. You're coaching several women and women who have gone through trauma, women whose confidence have been beaten down and diminished through life circumstances, and their confidence, you're trying to build them back up. So what would you say? Obviously, the question is, what would you say to somebody who's struggling with a lack of confidence? The easy answer is just work with Dr. Stanley. Like, just go ahead and work with Cowano, right? But what would you say this high level overview to somebody who's just struggling, with their confidence today?
The biggest thing is just being able to get in a place. If your surrounding isn't safe, get in a safe surrounding, because
Hmm.
sometimes your surrounding can affect how you feel. It can affect where your mindset is. And of course, everything starts with the mindset. So how you think about yourself all starts up there. So the
Hmm.
mind itself is a battle. It's a constant battle, even though I'm confident, but it's still a constant battle every day, because there's only take one moment and a second at a time of a day where something hits you and you're just like, what just happened? So I say fighting the battle is the biggest thing, but you got to be in a safe space where you can start learning to do the self work on you,
Hmm.
figuring out. I mean, sometimes digging up the root cause can be hard, but
Hmm.
that's where the therapists come in.
Yep.
And if you don't have the means to invest in yourself to get more help, start finding people. I mean, we have social media. There's plenty of ways to find free stuff, free, videos, free motivation speaking. And I mean, YouTube have tons. Les Brown is one of my favorite.
Hmm.
Um, I have 3 co-author books with Les Brown. So, I mean, just finding some motivation, positive music, wording, reading a book, like all of this helps change the mind. Because now
Absolutely.
you're getting a different perspective of outside of limiting the negative stuff in your mind. You got to get rid of the negative that's in the mind that's being held.
Yeah, get rid of the trash, replace the trash with healthy, positive, productive
Yes,
information, because you have to change your mind for sure. Yes, I love
yes.
that.
And
And
another biggest thing I want people to do is affirmations is one of the biggest things that they're so powerful,
hmm
but it's powerful in your actions that you're taking with the affirmations. So if
hmm
you can start speaking the affirmations, sometimes they don't feel real, because it's like, okay, well, this ain't even happening, but your mind is an imagination. It
hmm
can be an imagination, but everything that's in your mind can become reality too.
hmm hmm
Just like the bad, the good can. So
hmm
start with affirmation posts. I mean, I have affirmations all in my office, all in the bathroom, mirrors. Like when I get up and go brush my teeth, I'm looking right at affirmation.
hmm
Today is going to be a good day. Today, think positive. Today, we speak in faith walk, faith talk. Like I have it all lifted right there.
Yeah,
So that way, if my day, even me getting out the bed, seem like I'm gonna have a bad day, we gonna speak it positive. But at least we're going to be prepared. So if
yeah,
something do happen, we're not breaking down.
that's so good. I like how that's so important, and it's very practical. It's very practical. So let's talk about how you serve. This is an opportunity to just kind of take a minute or two to just share. How do you serve? What are your resources? How can people connect with you and work with you? Take a few minutes to do that.
Okay. I can, I serve people. I'm always giving, some good tips on confidence on social media. I'm on all social media platforms from TikTok to LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Like I'm on all social media platforms. I have 2 main websites that people can go to. And my main one is KowanoStanley.com. All of my information is on my website. If you whether somebody's requesting for me to speak to them, or whether somebody's trying to book an appointment to, get more about my services. But I actually have digital products that people can purchase low as $10. Whether it's audios, whether it's just some a webinar, or a whole like 45-minute training. Like I have so many for those who can't invest like they want to, but can start somewhere. And it's
Yeah,
lifetime access to all of this. So once you have it, it's yours. And you can
that's good.
always go back to it, you
Hmm.
know.
Hmm.
I'm doing my conference, of course, that's in Las Vegas, June 7th and 8th, the first annual Reclaim Your Confidence Conference. It's absolutely going to be amazing. I have speakers from Minnesota, Baltimore, DMV, all the DMV area,
Wow.
Pennsylvania. So I have speakers that's coming to be a part of that. It's going to be absolutely amazing, energetic, interactive. You're not just going to be one of those conference you sit down and you just listen to everybody talking. Nothing's no. You're going to do some work. You're going to
Good.
have fun with doing it, but you're going to really. It's going to be some crying. It's going to be some laughing. It's going to be a little bit of all emotions. But
Good.
that's a part of the process to get your confidence
Yes.
ignited.
Yes. I love that. I love that. How many people are
And if
you
anybody wants and the free, and if anybody just need even a free, ebook just to unleash unlocking your inner confidence, you can go to myconfidenceiskey.com to have that free access to that ebook. Yes.
myconfidenceiskey.com? Love it.
KEY.com. Yes.
And I'll get your social media handles after that. You may have already given it to me, but I'll get it after so I could
Okay.
put it in the show. So I'm just entertaining this conference idea. How many people are you expecting to show up as participants?
Of course, I want to be packed out. The conference room that I'm doing is Hilton Gardens, so it's right across the bridge from the Strip. So the max people is 90.
Okay.
And that's including with conference. So I'm hoping I at least get the full, because right now we already are at 25, I think, right now. So if I can get the other 50 people, great, that will be a
So yeah,
blessing. But my prayer is that God's will be done, and he allow the people that to be there, that need to be in the room, that needs this conference to be there. That's my prayer.
absolutely.
I want it to be full. If that's God's will, it will be done, and I believe it.
I love it. Well, Cowano, thank you so much. It's such a pleasure to meet you. Is there anything I didn't ask you that you feel led to share today before we end?
No, this podcast was absolutely amazing. I love podcasts like this. I am so, like, my superpower. Everybody got to find that superpower, because your confidence is your superpower. So what is your
Yes.
superpower? My superpower is definitely motivating and inspiring people to be a better you. You can't be a better
Yes.
you without having the belief and the confidence in yourself. So the more that you work on you, the more happier from the inside out, not the outside in. So we got to learn how to do the work from the inside. Life is not going to be perfect, and that's okay, but it's going to come with some moments, because God is going to test you at times, and the devil is going to tempt you. You got to know which one it is, and you got to be
Absolutely.
prepared for both.
Right.
God's not going to dig us out of everything. Sometimes He's going to be there with us to carry us through it, but He's not just going to pull us out. So we just got to be
Mhm.
prepared. In order to be prepared, you got to still believe in yourself, because life is going to come sometimes, and life you along the way, unexpected and expected, and you just got to know
Yeah,
how to deal with it. And it's how you respond to situations.
that is right. I'm gonna hashtag do the work. Okay.
Yes.
Hashtag the work. Yes. Well, I'm so thankful that you got to be a guest on the Empower to Empower You podcast. Y'all, please follow her. Please connect with her. She gave lots of ideas for resources, digital products. There's even a free resource. So there is no excuse to not have access to this information and connect with Cowano. Definitely, I'm going to connect with her more. Listen, I'm so excited to know that you got this information, and that if your confidence is struggling today, you have the recipe and the connection to plug in so that you can reclaim and increase your confidence and do the work. This is B. Wendy Jackson. I'll be back next time with another empowering message. Have a wonderful week on purpose. Hello. Did you know a vacation is great for your overall wellness? Some signs that you need a break are changes in eating habits, cynicism about work, difficulty concentrating, getting sick more frequently, lack of motivation, low mood, frustration, and many more. Well, listen, I have a secret to tell you. My husband and I are part of an amazing travel club which will help you travel more, travel better, and travel for less. I am so excited to be a part of this travel club because at my fingertips, I can just pick a world tour or a getaway. I can save between 30% and 80% on hotels, car rentals, entertainment, amusement parks, activities, dining, shopping, oh man, cruises, and so much more. And allow our son to experience the world in a new way. The best part about this, it is not a timeshare. And trust me, we have sat through hours of timeshare presentation only to find out the amount of investments the timeshare want you to commit to? Well, to learn more about this, listen, just head on over to my website, againstalladdspcs.com, and go to resources and click on Travel with B. Wendy. You can also learn more about this. You can also message me, and I would love to share this with you. You need a vacation. Sometimes you just need to get away. This is all part of taking care of your mental health, taking care of getaway, a breakaway, just so that you don't break down, right, or fall apart. Sometimes you have to come apart so you don't really fall apart, right? So this is me, Wendy Jackson. Just wanted to share this quick infomercial with you. Listen, connect with us today. Against All Odds, PCS.com. Click on resources, and where it says need to get away, click on Travel with B. Wendy. All right, or you can email me hello@againstalloddspcs.com, or you could even message me on Instagram at empowered2serve, the number 2. There's so many ways to get in touch with me. I look forward to hearing from you.